If you are yet to try the famous Nigerian meat pie, this is for you. And even if you thought you were a pro at making this, try this method and experience the difference. Now that just sounded like an ad. We are going to be making it in this video, so stay connected. Now for your Nigerian meat pie, you will need unsalted or salted butter. I use the salted. You will need to add salt on the side if you decide to go with the unsalted kind. You will also need the Irish potatoes. It just needs to be diced up neatly. Some chopped onion, some diced carrots, and some spring onion just to add a bit of color. In a bowl, we're going to add in 4 cups of flour and baking powder. We're going to also go in with our sugar. Now, you do not need a ton of sugar for this recipe. And we're going to be needing cold butter. That cold butter is what is going to give it that flakiness, okay? You want your pastry to come out all flaky. When you have added in your butter, just use your fingers to work the butter into the flour. In a bowl, you're going to break in 2 eggs. Yes, and as usual, I have eggshells in there, so I'm just taking it out, okay? Just pretend like you didn't see that. And now you will go in with ice water, please. And this is still to encourage that flaky crust that we want to achieve. And then you begin to add it into the flour mixture. Start to combine gradually. Do not pour it in all at once. And this is just so that it begins to work its way together. You're not planning to knead this dough. You're simply going to make sure it all comes together in a rough ball. The process of making the Nigerian meat pie is very similar to how the Jamaicans make their beef patty. I guess the only difference in this case is in the making of the filling, as well as the color that their pastry comes with. It comes out looking yellow because of the turmeric that's added in, but it's very similar in the way it's made. Okay, so here it is. My dough has gradually come together. It's not going to be kneaded, so do not worry about it being smooth and all of that. Nope. When it has come together nicely, you want to cover with plastic wrap, and you're going to be putting this in your fridge for about 30 minutes to an hour. Again, this is also to keep it cold because that is the only way we'll be able to achieve a flaky pastry, a flaky crust. We'll keep that in the fridge, and while that is sitting in there, we're going to make our ground beef. This ground beef filling is one of a kind. It is simple, but it is delicious, and this is how I've always made it. In your skillet, you want to add in a little bit of oil. You want to go in with your chopped onion and your diced carrot and begin to saute that until the carrot has softened up just a little bit before going in with the ground beef. I use the lean kind and the medium lean. So I had both in the fridge, leftovers from a previous recipe, so I tossed them in. Now, it is important that your Irish potatoes that you already diced is a little parboiled before going in with it. And this is just to soften it up because I don't believe cooking it directly softens it up the way I really like my potatoes soft. I made sure to parboil it first before going in with it at all. You want to season your ground beef with some onion powder, garlic powder if you have some salt, and some beef bouillon. Then we add in our chopped potatoes that has already been parboiled before going in finally with the spring onion. You want to ensure that the spring onion is added at the tail end of the cooking. This is because spring onion does not need to be cooked, right? It's only added in here for garnishing. You don't want to overcook it after adding it in. Now it has cooked, it's tasting right. I then go in with my flour. This is going to serve as a thickening agent for our meat filling. When you see it is all combined, just add in a 1/4 cup of water and cover with the lid. Reduce the heat to less than medium heat and keep on cooking until you see that there is no liquid at the bottom of the skillet. Yes, it should be looking like this. The consistency should just, be balanced right in the middle of thick and loose. Our filling is ready. We have set that aside so that it can begin to cool down. While that is cooling, we can then get to the dough again. We take it out of the fridge and then we divide into 8 portions. And then we want to roll out our dough on a floured surface. When you've rolled it out enough, you don't want it to be too thin. As well, you don't also want it to be too thick. Use a round bowl just to carve out a very nice round shape. This has been cut out like so. You can then use a scoop to add in your filling. You want to use a scoop just so that you're not adding too much or too little to every piece of dough. Pretty much the same quantity of meat in all your pies. When you've done that, you just lift the other end of the cut out dough and cover the meat. As you have seen, I used my fingers to pinch the sides and the edges just to ensure that I'm closing up every edge, and then I'm going to seal it up with a floured end of a fork. Every single one should be closed up. You don't want meat escaping from the sides at the end of the baking process. In a bowl, you want to break an egg, whisk together, and this is going to serve as our egg wash. We just coat the top of each pie with the egg wash and then create vents on each of the pies. This is what you should be ending up with. Crusty, delicious meat pie. Flaky. You see that? You see that? Oh my goodness. Flaky, delicious. I have all the measurements on my site, sturvsbyiddy. If you're interested in going with this recipe, I hope you try it. If you're yet to subscribe, please do. Okay? I hope to see you in my next video.